This is the iFootage Nano slider, and I've been using it for about a month now. iFootage sent this to me for review for me to check out ahead of the launch, to give some feedback and also share my thoughts with you guys. And I think for any content creator or run and gun filmmaker, if you're in the market for a powered slider, this is definitely one you should check out, because for me, it kind of checks all of the necessary boxes and also eliminates some headaches. I'm the kind of person who likes to keep things pretty simple, whether it be shooting my own YouTube videos or shooting videos for a client. The second you start adding more gear and more tools, that just leads to the possibility for more troubleshooting and more headaches, and God forbid having to use something that you need an app to use. This slider does let you use an app, but you don't have to, and that might be one of my favorite things about it. It is a motorized slider, so you're not actually going to be holding on to the carriage itself and moving back and forth. You're going to keyframe everything and actually set up the move beforehand, which at first I wasn't crazy about. I've owned and used other sliders in the past, and more often than not, I've liked to just be able to hold on to the carriage itself and move and make those movements as I need rather than program it, because usually the programming just takes more time and usually isn't that convenient or reliable. But with this, you have a small LCD screen directly on the unit itself, and everything is touchscreen, super easy to use. Not only that, but it's all powered by a single NPF battery, or you can plug directly in with USB-C. Absolutely love that. If you are plugged in with USB-C, you're not only going to power the slider, but if the battery is inserted, that will actually charge the battery as well, so that's a win-win. And it seems like a pretty small slider, but the base will actually slide back and forth if you mount this to a tripod, so that's going to almost double your length that you would get for the slide if you need a little bit more movement. I've found for most cases, even just something as short as this, it usually gets the job done. Not for everything, but for a lot of cases, this is more than enough. Not only that, but during the slide, if you want the camera to pan at all, you can program that as well, because this does rotate. So adding that with the slide, you're getting plenty of movement in such a small frame. The startup time is super simple. I'm gonna kind of walk through it just so you guys can get an idea as to how it all works. For starters, we'll unlock the carriage. You just have this little locking knob right here on the side, and then we're just gonna hold in the power button. Power's on, and automatically it's gonna start going through the calibration process, which does take a little bit of time. That's the only downside in terms of the time it takes to set this thing up. The startup time, basically for it to get calibrated, it's a little bit long, but it's really not a big deal. It takes about as long as leveling out a tripod, so just another normal kind of setup process. As it's doing this, your base plate is sliding, as well as the carriage and the head on here that you can either mount your camera or a tripod head to. It's also going to be slowly rotating as well. Once it's done, it comes up on the screen and says it's calibrated, and again, this is a touch screen, so you just click on calibrated, and now you're at the home screen. The home screen is going to show you your battery life, as well as your quick start, time lapse, stop motion, and your settings. So if you want to fine tune anything in the settings, you can do that. One of my favorite ways to use this is to simply press the power button and the function button at the same time, and that's going to jump you right into keyframe mode. Now my SL2 is currently on the tripod filming me right now, and we're going to be using my iPhone as essentially just the demo camera, and we're going to need to kind of rig this up to make it work. Got my iPhone adapter right here. I've got this little Kessler quick plate that we're going to put on top because this accepts 1/4-20. This is a 3/8 head. Again, we need to figure out a way to work around this. So we're going to screw this quick release plate on there, but if I were to just go ahead and start screwing it onto the top, this head is going to be spinning freely because, again, the head is able to pan as you're moving. So basically, just to attach a tripod head, or in this case a quick release plate, you just push in on this little lock, and that's going to keep it from spinning as you're trying to attach something to it. Thread that on there. Okay, thread that on there, that's good to go. Go ahead and lock this in. My phone's dead. Okay, just for demonstration, you're gonna see plenty of sample video anyway. Guys, it's late. Okay, let's just pretend that I have my camera set up right here. Again, all we're gonna have to do, jump into keyframe mode, you press the play or power button and the function button at the same time, and now you're in keyframe mode. For this, it's literally as simple as choosing where I wanna start. So let's say all the way over here, and I want my camera pointed in this direction. I'm gonna press A. Now I'm just gonna move the slider or the carriage basically to where I want it, rotate the camera if I want to. Let's say I want it right there. Press B, okay. Now we can select our time. Let's just choose 15 seconds. I believe that's the default. After that, you can select this A-B button. Basically, this would just reverse your A and B point. If for whatever reason you maybe set it up backwards, you can just press that. You can turn it on to loop if you want it to loop. So this would be great for interviews if you've got a B camera and you want it to basically just be looping back and forth on your subject, that will work. And then if you select origin, it's going to go ahead and move the carriage back to the original position of where you want it to start. From there, all you'd have to do is press start, and it's going to go ahead and go through the motion. Again, not only the slide, but also the pan. You can also, in the settings, dial in a way to basically add a delay. So if you don't want it to immediately start moving the second you press start, you can add a delay on there, which is kind of nice. It kind of eliminates any camera shake. So maybe if you press record right as you hit start, sometimes the first second or so can be a little bit jittery. So I actually use that delay feature a lot. But again, it went ahead and finished there. If we hit origin, it's going to go right back to where it initially was when we got started. And I'll just go ahead, throw it on a loop, hit start here, and you'll be able to see it as it gets to the end. It'll just automatically go in reverse and back and forth. Riveting. Okay, once you're done, all you have to do is hit exit and it's going to stop abruptly. And from there, if you wanted to start all over again, press the two buttons and then you can just get right back into it. And you have this little indicator on the screen to show you like where it is in the carriage and kind of gives you a rough idea as to how much movement is left, especially if you're on a tripod. That's to me like really, really useful. But you can go home, again, dial in your settings, jump into the time-lapse feature, the stop motion feature. There's a little input here on the carriage if you want to plug this in directly to your camera for the stop motion or time-lapse features, and just about every camera brand is supported, and there's a full list on their website. Again, for something so small that's so easy to set up with NPF battery power or USB-C, touchscreen interface, you don't have to use an app. I do think the app does add a few features that maybe you can kind of control the head or the slider almost like joysticks, like you can control the slide and the head independently in real time. That might be kind of nice to use. I personally love using it this way because it's just simple. I hate having to use an app for any kind of product because I just find that clunky and not really reliable. So often I would go to use that on a shoot and I would start seeing notifications and then I would get distracted and it would just kind of take me out of it. For me, the simpler the better, and I love just how simple and compact this is. If you want to learn more about this slider, I'll put a link in the description to where you can check it out from iFootage themselves, as well as the Gerald Undone video, because he is the most thorough and just perfect person on YouTube when it comes to stuff like this. I am not usually the person to talk about video gear and stuff like that, but again, iFootage asked me if I was interested, and I've personally bought plenty of tripods, tripod heads, monopods. Like, I love what iFootage does with their gear, so when they offered to do this, I was more than happy to, but definitely check out Gerald's video. This is his world. That's it for today. Thank you iFootage so much for sending this to me. I've been using it in all of my videos lately and I absolutely love it. Again, if you're a content creator or a run and gun filmmaker, somebody who wants something simple, small, easy to take with you, this is definitely a slider worth checking out. But that's it for today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I love you. I'll see you next time.